Welcome to the MVP Show. Full show notes for this episode can be found at nz365guy.com/251. Before we chat with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsors. Well, today's show is brought to you by the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. I'm currently taking applications for 2021. This will be the fourth year I've run the program to help turbocharge your Microsoft Business Applications career. If you want to be mentored in the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge, please go to nz365guy.com/mentor. Well, today's MVP is from Milan, Italy. He's the director at Deloitte Italia. He's a 7-year MVP, volunteer and trainer at Plan for the Future. He's a musician. You can find him on Twitter at Macchinetti, and his website is scenedax@blogspot.com, and we'll make sure all that is in, of course, the show notes for this episode. Denis Macchinetti, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here today. So, listen, and I hope to tell something interesting for you guys.
Excellent. So, tell me about what life is like at the moment in Italy.
Well, I can say that around the world in the same situation, unfortunately. But again, we need to find out positives. So is my motto. Again, as of today, probably the situation is become more stable, so we can see some positive future. But I can say that we relax a little bit in August because in Italy is main period of holiday. But I'm ready to start the new challenge for the rest of the year. But again, I'm positive for my nature, obviously, but also today.
So, in the early days, Italy featured a lot in the news with COVID-19. But are you finding the country is settling down a bit now? It's a bit more life back to normal?
Yeah. The life become more, in a normal situation. Obviously not in comparing January or December, but people, obviously, also around the world, start to go outside to reach out to the office. But again, for our job, the technical stuff, ICT, mainly also as of today, we manage our job remotely. So mainly from remotely, from my side, mixed from office to my house. But again, it's a new way we need to reinvent, in some way.
Yeah.
It's not so easy, again, especially for the manager, because a remote manager, I remember in the past, was something that was a dream. But as you can say that we can be a good manager also remotely, also if we don't have people sit in the same physical table.
So Milan, Italy, Milano's a beautiful city. If I was to visit there, what do you recommend that I do, and what specialty food dishes should I be eating?
Well, I can say probably also other city in the world. Milan is obviously the main city, especially for the business, but there is also for tourists, because there is a little beautiful place that we can visit. According if people love movida, let me say so, or love others, a theater or different place. Anyway, my suggestion, to be honest, I don't have a specific suggestion. I can say that every city is nice, in my opinion. Is enough sometimes to walk a little bit around the center, close to the center. For my opinion, is very, very nice to see people, see.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But again, I don't know. I don't have a specific place to suggest. Live the life, live the city.
Yeah, I've been to Milan, I think twice now, maybe 3 times, and yeah, I love the city. Absolutely beautiful, amazing food, and of course, something that's very important to me, all the fashion.
Yeah, well, in fact, the fashion is, as you know, is the main things. Depend of the period, but there is a lot of
Hmm.
event in Milan around the year. Unfortunately, right now, not too much because there is COVID. But fashion is for sure the main the main things. But also food. You know, there is cotoletta alla milanese,
Hmm.
is in Italy. But
Hmm.
again, we can live the city in a different way, food, fashion, culture, and something like that.
Very cool. Very cool. So, how did you start your career?
Well, I start my career in technical stuff as of
Hmm.
today, but probably less than a year ago, like a developer, normal developer, and I
Hmm.
love developer. I love code. I love technical stuff. But again, from my side was a good. At the beginning challenge because we need to learn different language, different
Hmm.
system because I remember I started with the IS founder, IBM, and then I moved to object language, I remember Visual Basic, and
Hmm.
after some years I start my challenge, my adventure in Dynamics. I remember with 2.5. So I start
Hmm.
in at the beginning when Microsoft buy the product from Damgard. I don't remember right now the
Hmm.
company, but
So this is a Exapta? Exapta?
yeah, Exapta was the
Yeah.
first market, the name of the product.
Hmm.
Then become EX 2004.0, blah, 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 and then
Hmm.
Dynamics
Hmm.
IX, then IX7, I remember, and then
Hmm.
Dynamics 65. So, long journey.
Did you specifically just get assigned to a project when you started with Exapta back then, or did you purposefully, go after moving into that area, or working with that product?
Well, I remember that from my at the beginning of my career, I start to like a job like consultancy. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I do some few years in the end user company
Hmm.
where I learn a lot of things because the role in an end user is different from a consultancy. And
Hmm.
in my opinion, we need to handle both positions in order to understand what it means if your software is not made in a proper way, and in
Hmm.
opposite, if you are in the user, you know what the business need. So again, I made. The first journey, my first journey was in the user, and then from a long
Hmm.
time I became a consultant, and I start to work from different company, different project, ERP, obviously implementation. So is the my
Hmm.
focus is was every always on relation to related to the to big implementation.
Mm-mm. So is in Italy, when you look at ERP systems, you've obviously got Dynamics, finance, and operations, etc. now. But who are your main competitors? Is it still SAP, or is there other big products out there that you compete against?
Well, I can say the situation is the same like around the world. The main competitor that we find on the table are SAP and Oracle.
Hmm.
Is the main one. Then yeah, in Italy probably because in average the company is mid-sized.
Hmm. Hmm.
Comparing to probably other countries in the world, in Europe especially. So we have other product domestic solution,
Hmm.
but we in our opportunity, mainly 90% that we find SAP and Oracle that are
Right.
NetSuite or I don't remember the Fusion probably the
Yeah.
enterprise product. Yeah.
How did you end up becoming an MVP? What was your journey to becoming an MVP?
Wow, I spend a lot of time to learn. So I remember a year ago, also today, but probably today I'm a mixed role, so I do different things. But a year ago, I spent really 14 hour per day to debugging. So yeah, because the manual doesn't any manual, any Google, any community remembers. So the unique way to learn in this product was to debug the existing code. So my story start with the different a lot of years spent behind a video and yeah, create solution, learning from obviously existing one solution, I mean standard, and learn in this way. So I learn alone without any training, without nothing. Oh, fantastic story.
But how did you end up getting nominated and coming into the MVP program?
Well, I remember that I get in touch in 2014 or probably before, because my journey started in 2014 and with Andrea de Cavalon, that very well. I remember that Andrea was also today very, very not famous, but I mean very active in the community. Yes. Yeah, because Andrea is very, very fantastic guys and help a lot of people. And so I say, oh, wow, I want to become like Andre. And I get in touch with him, and probably him helped me to nominate probably me in like MVP. And, obviously after more than 1 year, we spent a lot of hours in the community, blog, blah, blah, blah. I received the award. So I remember it was very exciting about this nomination.
Yeah. So I noticed that you're a moderator in the Dynamics forums. Is that right? And so what is that? How much time do you normally spend on moderation and things like that?
Yeah. I'm a moderator, but to be honest, recently, I mean, last 3-4 years, I spend my time more on let me say webinar, event, live, obviously right now. And to be honest, I don't, I lose a little bit the community. So, but again, moderator, I remember that I spent a lot of time means to not only to reply to answer, but means and the quality of the community, because it's very important that people learn from the community, and that means that community people need to reply in a proper way. Means that if you do a question, I need to reply to this question. If another question coming, means that a moderator need to create to split the thread. So community moderator is a role very important and is time consuming role. And remember, guys, that as you know better than me, that MVP is a passion mainly. So it's not so easy to find the time to dedicate to this type of scenarios. So this is the reason because I focus. I handle my time more focused to the blog and webinar, because there is a specific slot and nothing else.
Yeah, I did notice now in your blog, you've been blogging for over 10 years. I think I see the first post was in January 2008. And of course, we're now in 2020. So what's that? 12 years? It's a heck of a long time you've been blogging. What's your secret to consistently blogging?
Well, the secret in our job is a unique word, passion. So, I mean, in every job, in my opinion, the passion is the first driver, So if you love to do something and you have the passion, you find the time. Obviously, sometimes often personal time, but this is the unique drive that move and that helped me, let me say, to find out time to spend on this product mainly, and on the community. I love to teach, to coach the people, to help especially, because I help you today, and my motto is you can help me tomorrow. So let's see. But again, the passion is the unique way, the unique driver that, in my opinion, can can help us as, community MVP, but not only MVP, because there is a lot of people that are not MVP but spend a lot of time for other for free, because remember that it's for free.
I was just once again taking a look at your blog. In 1 year, in 2012, you got 79 posts. In January alone, 10 posts. February, 10 posts. September, 10 posts. 15 in October. That's an incredible amount of work that you must be putting in to create all those posts.
Yeah, to be honest, comparing to other people, Andre, for instance, the quality of my post probably is not the same, in terms of, but I don't want to say the content, because in my opinion it's important, the content and the people that find out the solution. But again, the quality for other bloggers is for sure more than me. But again, it's easy, because every day you do something. That you solve something, and so the secret, the tricky is to store. So I use my blog like also a knowledge base, from myself, So if I have a knowledge base, why I can't to become public for others? So if I use for myself, I can also, other people can use as well. So this is the reason, because I start blogging. I remember I start blogging for only at the beginning from my side. I have a place where I can find some notes, some help, but again, become also a way to help other people.
Tell me the impact the MVP has had on your career. Do you think it's had a positive impact or no impact at all? What's been the impact to your career?
Well, I listen also your recording to other MVP for the same question. I can say that I'm aligned from other, because probably I don't think, especially in Italy, probably I don't know. Probably Europe is something that is more the company recognized, let me say. But in terms of career, nothing. My opinion, but in my opinion, from my side, also the client, especially ICT department of the client, recognize. And my opinion is something that I do firstly for myself. So this is very important. I don't spend time to become MVP for other. Also, if it probably could be business. So again, career, in terms of career, nothing. But from my side means get in touch with other people, get in touch with Microsoft, get in touch with other MVP. That is very important, because I can ask an help from a specific topic on MVP that is specialized in customer engagement or is specialized on Azure. So again, is a business card,
Yes. That's very interesting. That's very interesting you say that. Tell me about what recommendations would you have for people out there, they might be working and with finance or even commerce, Dynamics 365, operations, all these different product areas, and they might have an aspiration to become an MVP. Is there any recommendations you would give to them?
Well, to become an MVP, again, also here the unique drive is the passion. So doesn't care the technology, as you mentioned. You can Microsoft stack is very large. There is a lot of technology. Microsoft Office, human resources, there is .NET, blah, blah, blah. Again, so in my opinion, is enough to do, to be yourself, So we don't need to do something again for other. You need to be yourself, to share your experience, to share your valuable professionality and skills. And in my opinion, step by step, for instance, MVP can something that arrive, at a certain point of your life, and you do nothing for that for become. But Microsoft or other MVP recognize your effort, so you can gain the award automatically, or any case after a lot of obviously effort and dedication. But again, do something for you firstly.
I love it. Wow, it's been good talking to you and hearing your story. Before we go, I always like to ask you some random questions. Are you ready for your random questions?
Well, yeah, I'd like to understand, to know, because you interviews a lot of MVP, so you discuss, we interact with the many several people. So, what you understanding from the MVP? So, what is the word, the phrase, or the story that for you is a good impact to not to learn but to hear? What is the story that really give you a big impression?
Yeah, so I think the big one and it's actually what you've said, peppered through this podcast just now, is the need for passion. If you're not excited about your area, if it doesn't, excite you, it's very hard to fabricate that unless it's actually part of who you are. When I became an MVP in 2012, or leading up to the years leading up to that, I had literally fallen in love with Dynamics 365. In my area, it was CRM, and I had a passion for it that was independent of anything else. And so, hence why I pivoted my career into the technology, and it became my focus. So I think you're spot on. Passion is so important.
Well, yeah, yeah, I agree. And another question, if I can, is what discussing again with the other MVP, what MVP in which way MVP to be MVP help people during day by day?
Yeah, so that's interesting, as in because it affects everybody differently, and I find it interesting that you said in Italy you haven't noticed a massive impact from your employer or career as such, and I have got a friend that's also an MVP in the same area as I am, and he's Italian. He's just south of Milan, where his hometown is, although he's currently living in China, Guido, and he's the same thing. He's saying the employer doesn't value the MVP the same, and I'm wondering, is it just a thing in Italy where, my experience is a lot of employers absolutely value having MVPs on their team. Now, when you say what's the impact on the day to day, I think the biggest impact I've found, and also that I've heard from a lot of MVPs, is two things. One is the wider community of MVPs that you have direct access to, right? There's no question or difficulty that comes up in projects or in day-to-day business around the technology that you can't instantly go out to a whole group of colleagues and go, have you had this problem before? How have you solved it? If it's not in the forums or you don't want to say it publicly, you can do it privately to all these MVPs. And then the other one is access to the product team via, of course, the DLs, those lists where you can say, is this a core problem with the technology, or is this something that is a problem on my end, and so you can get that kind of access to the engineers that are involved in working on the technology. So I think those are the two biggest day-to-day impacts.
Oh yeah, I'm agree because to be up to date, because it's another benefit in order to be an MVP is another important things in our job, because we need to be always up to date. That the time is the time is not too much, because growing your career, you can embrace a role that is more time consuming, more demand, and so the time become less. So some people ask me, oh, when you can find time to, how you can find time to dedicate to the journey. I can say easy. Again, if you have a passion, you find the time. So obviously in a different way comparing to my at the beginning my story, but in a different way, because probably right now, as I said, I'm involved more in a webinar, also in a live event, and the COVID, for instance, that has all bad situation help in this case help us to learn, because many even become online, and also you can online mode to help other people. So this is probably, let me say, a benefit in some way about this situation, that again can must push us to learn. Is another important, in my opinion, word that or things that we need to do.
So true. Denis, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you. I'll make sure I put your Twitter, website, all those details in the show notes for our guests. And I look forward to maybe seeing you at an in-person event sometime in the coming years. Hey, thanks for listening. And joining me again today, I'm your host, Business Applications MVP Mark Smith, also known as the NZ365 Guy. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a review, I've set up a new page. It's at nz365guy.com/review. And there's a couple of different options and ways that you can leave reviews or read the reviews that other people have left in the past. I'd really appreciate it if you'd take the time to do that. Otherwise, see you next time.